Good afternoon. Afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Please, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Awesome. Thank you. All right, welcome, everyone. It's wonderful to have you here with us this afternoon. We are going to wait a few minutes just for everyone to join. In the meantime, it would be lovely in the chat if you could introduce yourself. Let us know where you're from, what subject, what grade you teach. I'm going to share my screen of the actual call. So if you look at the top panel, you'll see there's a chat function. If you click on that, that's where you'll be able to send through messages. Then you've got the question and answer, where if you do have questions, you can send it there, but let's try to use the chat in the session. And then you can use the raise hand if you want to comment, and I can unmute you and you can you can talk. There's a reaction button as well. If you click on it, you can choose different reactions to interact with us during the session. Thumbs up, heart, clapping, laughing, surprised, depending on how you're feeling. So yes, please click on the chat and let me know where you're from, your name, and what subjects and what grade you teach. Thank you. I see we've got some comments coming through. Nice. Alra Park Primary. Dell Park Secondary. Lovely. Very nice. Sanette, your hand is up. I'm going to unmute you. You can unmute yourself on your side.
Oh, sorry, no, that was a mistake.
Okay, no problem. Good, nice. Palm Ridge. Protea School. Good. It's nice to see the variety of different teachers that has joined us, the different grades you are teaching, the different subjects. Okay, welcome everyone. We are going to wait 5 more minutes so that all the teachers can join us. In the meantime, in the chat, you are welcome to introduce yourself. You can let me know your name, the school that you're teaching at, the subjects and the grades that you teach. Very nice. Bell Park Secondary represented well today as well. Nice. Okay, very, very nice. Different schools. We've got maths teachers, English teachers, engineering, graphics, and design teachers. Nice. Natural science and technology, geography, social science, history, wow. Agriculture, very nice. Economics. Hey, welcome to everyone that has joined us. We're going to be starting in 3 more minutes. Thank you for all the teachers that have introduced themselves. In the chat, if you haven't had an opportunity, you're welcome to introduce yourself. Let me know your name, what school you teach at, and what subjects and grades you teach. Hey, welcome everyone. Okay, we'll be starting in 2 minutes. If I can ask you to use your reaction, and I'd love for you to give me a heart reaction if you currently use Canva at least once a week in your class. If you use Canva at least once a week, you can give me a heart reaction. Nice. Can I ask you give me a thumbs up reaction if you've never used Canva before? Okay. Good. I see we a good mix. Some that have used Canva and some that haven't used Canva before. Good. All right, welcome everyone. Let's get started. Let's kick off for this afternoon. Welcome to session 1 of Canva Essentials. And in this session, we are basically going to get to know what Canva is, and how we can use Canva in our classrooms. Please feel free to pop your questions in the chat. And also, if you would like to participate and say something, you're welcome to also raise your hand. I'm going to quickly introduce myself and go through the agenda. And then, Nteya, I see that you've got your hand up. I will take your comments after I've run through the agenda. My name is Petrina. I am from Zibuza, and I am a trainer. I also wear other titles, like many of you in the room. I come from a teaching background. I taught for 15 years in the classroom, and then last year I stepped away from the classroom, and I'm still teaching, but to a different audience. Now I train teachers, and we show them how they can use different EdTech products in the classroom. So today we're going to be discussing how we can use Canva in the classroom. We're going to be looking at different scenarios where we can use Canva. Then I'm going to take you through a basic navigation of what Canva looks like. Then we're going to be doing a practical where we will be editing and translating a template. I'm also going to be demonstrating how you can upload existing resources into Canva. I'm going to be showing you how you can assign work to students. And then we will also do another practical where we will be creating a resource for our classroom. So by the time you leave the session today, you should have at least 2 resources that you can then use in your classroom. And then we will do our final note. Okay, so how can we use Canva, or what is Canva? Sorry, I just jumped through all my slides, apologies. So let's discuss, before we get started, we're just going to discuss the demand for Canva as a learning platform. So currently, 120 million students and teachers globally are using Canva monthly. There's also 1.5 billion designs that are created by our educators community. So this educator community is located, there's a group in South Africa and globally, and they create resources for their countries. So currently the South African team is creating resources according to the CAPS curriculum. There's 190 countries that are using Canva for education. 9,000 school systems are using Canva for education, and 700,000 schools across the globe is using Canva for education. So we can see that this is a product that is useful and being used in many schools. And why do we need to use tools like Canva? Well, if we look at the learners that sit in front of us today, I'm sure you'll agree with me that they are growing up in a time that is very different to what we grew up in. They are used to this edutainment, fast, instant learning, quick feedback. And as teachers, we need to try to reach our students where they are and in the world that they are living in with AI. And we actually did some studies, and studies have shown that when we are looking at materials that are creative, our brain activity actually is a lot higher than when we are looking at a black and white printed page. So when we are interacting with something that is creative, our brain activity is actually more stimulated. So what is Canva? For those that have never used Canva, it's basically an all-in-one visual communication platform, which helps you to create different resources for your class that is engaging. You can design them with ease, and you can even use templates to design, which we'll have a look at today. For myself, coming from a teaching background, I like to describe Canva as my teaching assistant. Why? Because things that sometimes used to take me hours to do, I now do it in Canva, and sometimes a task that took me an hour can take me even 5 minutes when I am using Canva. So I view it as my teacher's assistant. How do we sign up for Canva? Well, there's different packages. The Canva education package is free for all teachers, and you can sign up using your email address as well as your SAY certificate. And it's free for all teachers in primary and high school from grade 1 to grade 12. So how do we use Canva in the classroom? If you have used Canva in the classroom, I'd love for you to tell me in the chat, how do you use Canva? And I'm going to tell you different ways that teachers have used Canva and use Canva. So the one way is by creating lesson plans and different resources that go with the lesson plans, such as their presentations, their worksheets. You can also adapt templates that is already built into Canva. You can create printable worksheets as well as interactive worksheets that learners can interact with. You can create your flashcards, your charts, your infographics. Any visual that you need can be created within Canva. We also have different interactive games, and now with the coding, you can also code a game within Canva, which we will look at in tomorrow's session. So if you would love to know how you can code a game for your subject, make sure to attend tomorrow's session. We will be demonstrating that. You can also create assessments and self-marking activities within Canva. You can use AI and even teach your learners how to use AI responsibly by using Canva and showing them how you as a teacher use AI and get them to also create using AI in Canva. You can also collaborate and have group work activities where learners each open up a presentation on their device, but they're all working on the same presentation. And then it also helps to create differentiated activities with ease. So instead of you as a teacher spending hours creating an activity and then recreating it for a different level, Canva and the use of AI helps you to differentiate the activity in seconds. So let's go and have a look at a basic navigation of the platform. So if you are familiar with Canva, you might be familiar with what I'm going to be talking about now, but if you've never used Canva, this will all be new to you. So let's go and have a look at what does Canva look like. So when you open up Canva, you will notice that this is the dashboard that you see. So if it says, what will you teach today? That means you have the teacher's account and you are on the teacher's platform. Then we have the create button, where if you select create, this is where you can choose any of the resources that you want to work with. So whether that is a presentation, in the education folder, we have a lesson, we have educational videos, infographics, worksheets, Google Classroom header. You can have your classroom newsletter in Canva, your flashcards. You can create a poster. You can even create your timetable, your schedule. You can do group work. You can create a virtual background. For example, if you needed a background in Zoom or in a meeting, you can just brainstorm. You can create mind maps. And then there is teacher resources that you can browse. Then in the larger visual suite, we have presentations. Your marketing teams in your school can use the social media. So if you have a Facebook page or a LinkedIn page and you want to create your posts, you can do that all within Canva. You also have a photo editor where you can edit photos and remove backgrounds, grab certain items out of a photo. You can erase, for example, we've all taken those photos where there's someone in the background and we want to remove them. You can do that with our magic eraser. You can generate a new background for your images, and you can even grab text out of an image. You can create your videos, different size videos for your different social media platforms, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, WhatsApp, TikTok. It has all the sizes built in already. Then your docs would be like your Word docs. And yeah, you can have a pageless doc. So it's literally just one long strip of a document that you can work with. Or you have your A4 document where it's broken up into A4 sizes. You have your A3. You have a legal doc. You have a letter. Then you have a whiteboard, which is a big infinitive white space that you can use to brainstorm and collaborate on. You have sheets, which is like your Excel spreadsheets. You have a website where you can actually build a website within Canva. So if you are a school that doesn't have a website, this helps you now to be able to build one for your school so that your school can have a website. You can host it within Canva, or you can host it with an external domain. Then we have emails. And emails is, I'm sure you've seen recently, we are receiving more and more emails where it's not just a text-heavy email, but rather it has a beautiful banner and some photos, clickable links, either linking to the social media accounts or to other websites. Now you can create those types of emails within Canva and then email straight out of Canva, which we will also demonstrate for you in the sessions. I think it's in tomorrow's session. So that is the dashboard when it comes to creating. Then we have our home screen, and within our home, this is where all our designs that we've ever opened up sits. So you will be able to see all the designs that you've ever created. Then we have Classroom, and Classroom is where, as a teacher, you will be able to either import a Google Classroom that you've already set up, or you can create a class. So if you are a grade 6 English teacher, for example, and you teach 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, 6-4, you can create those classes in Canva and allocate your students to the class so that when you assign them with work and they hand it back to you, it will sit within the class folder. You will be able to see which assignments you have assigned. You will be able to see which assignments you have to review and mark online. And you will be able to see which ones you have already marked and handed back to your students for them to see the feedback. Then we have projects, and projects is your filing system. So if you look at the home screen, I mentioned that all your designs that you've ever created sit on the home screen. And that can be a bit chaotic because if you have designed something a year ago and you want to go back to that resource, you're going to have to keep scrolling. But our projects help you to keep organized. So when I was teaching, what I found is I would create folders and I would actually name them term 1, week 1. And then I would include all my resources for term 1, week 1, and I would drag them and drop them into the folder so that the following year, when I need to go back and look at what resources I used in that week, they all sitting in my folder, which helps with organization. Then we have templates, which we will go through in more detail later. But under your templates, you have a whole lot of different designs that have been created by your creator community as well as your education community. And as a teacher, you have access to all these templates, which you are allowed to use. They're not copyrighted, and you are able to use them and edit them to suit your needs and your classroom. Then we have brand, and brand is a very helpful tool because it helps you as a school to design consistently. So you will have your administrator, and they will set up the brand kit. And within the brand kit, this is where you can include your guidelines for your brand. Maybe, for example, you only want your school's logo or school's badge to sit in the right-hand side of every worksheet. So it's the instructions around the brand. Then you can have templates where you can design different templates that teachers can use. You have your logo where you can upload your school's badge. You have your colors where you can specify exactly what colors are used within your school. You have fonts where you can choose what font needs to be used for all the titles, subtitles, heading, and so forth. You can include a brand voice. Okay. You can include any particular photos. So if you've had a photographer or a teacher take photos of the school, or of students that parents have given you permission, then you can insert all those photos here under Canva photos. And then the teachers know that these are the photos that they are allowed to use. And then you can even add in different components when it comes to your graphics, icons. If you want to be really specific as a school, you can use that more for your corporates, but a school can also find this handy. And what this helps with is that you don't have teachers going and Googling for the school's badge, downloading it, uploading it into their worksheets. You don't have teachers using different fonts and different colors across the school. Everything remains consistent. Then you have your Canva AI. We have also apps that is built into Canva, just like your phone where you can download different apps. We have apps built in that helps teachers to create word searches, crossword puzzles, insert equations, create fancy text. There is just thousands and thousands of different apps, as you can see, that you can explore. If you are the school's marketer, you can actually sign into your social media accounts like your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your Facebook from Canva. And then you can literally post onto your social media accounts from Canva. You don't have to download and then go and upload. And then you can even create your content planner for your social media in Canva. There's a design school, which is wonderful, especially for teachers. There is different teacher courses. Some of them are certified, so you can actually complete these online courses. They're not long. Some of them are an hour, 2 hours, teacher essentials. And then once you're done, you get a certificate for some of them, like if it says shareable certificate. And that's then you can upload onto your LinkedIn and add into your files for personal development. All right, so that is the home navigation. What does it look like when we are in a presentation? So within a presentation, we have our home button, where if I click on that, it will take me back to my home screen. We have file, where you will be able to upload different files. You can move it into a folder. You can copy this design. You can print it straight from Canva. You can look at different versions. So if you have a team working on a presentation and someone accidentally deletes your work, you can go and have a look at the version history and just restore it to a version where you need it to be. And that's basically under File. Resize is a wonderful tool. It allows you to take, let's say, for example, you've got this presentation, and now you want to turn this into a booklet. So you will use your resize and go and look for a booklet, select it and resize the design, and it will turn this design into a booklet. You might need to play around a bit with the text and position certain elements, but it just takes that hard lifting of redesigning away. You don't need to redesign, you already have a basic design. Then you can change the options for a design. So for example, if I was to share this presentation with you, I can change it to viewing, then you will only have the ability to view this presentation. If I change it to commenting, then you'll be able to add comments, which is great for moderation. So if you have created your terms exam and you want to send it to your HOD for moderation, you can literally just send it from Canva and they can comment with all the improvements and then you can make the changes. A wonderful tool which many, especially in Africa, asked for was the ability to have an offline mode. So we know that at times we go into areas where we don't have data, or let's hope load shedding never starts again. But if we have load shedding and we don't have Wi-Fi, with this feature now we can make a presentation or a resource available for offline use. You'll make it, you will select it and it will prepare this design for offline use. So now I can go into an area with no Wi-Fi and I'm still able to make edits to my design. Then as soon as I reconnect to the internet, my design will automatically save to the cloud. Right, then you'll see there's a J and a P here. So this means these are two different people that have access to my presentation. So if I select share, I'm able to add people to this presentation by using their email address that they have used to sign up with Canva. So I can add their email addresses and I can also change if I want them to be able to edit, to comment, or to view, and I can even remove them from the presentation, which is also very helpful. And then you have different options. As students, you can send it to another teacher as well. Under your share, you also have the ability to download your presentation. You can download it as a PDF, a PowerPoint. You can create a video. You can download it as PNGs or JPEG files, or even an SVG if you're going to add it to a website. It's good to download it as a SVG. You also have the ability to embed this design into a website, LMS tool. You can connect your LMS tool to Canva. You are able to use it as an email. You can use it for a Google Classroom and other designs. You can even create a hazy flip book. So a e-book basically where learners can flip through the design. Then we have our templates. So you can access different templates within your resource. You also have elements. And elements is where you get to start being creative. So you get to choose your different shapes, graphics, photos, videos, 3D shapes, forms. There's different animations. There's audio files that you can also use, sheets, tables, charts, frames, grids, and even mockups. Now, all of these are not copyright. All right, so if you use them, you are able to use them and you won't get into trouble. Even with the audio, none of it is copyright. Canva has agreements with different providers that have made it available. If you are looking for an image, let's say, for example, you want a photo and you cannot find the type of photo that you would like, you can then describe what type of photo you want. So let's say, for example, I want a lion playing rugby in the rain. Okay, just to show you exactly how creative you can be. If you cannot find this design or this image, you can then generate it and it will generate the images for you using the Canva AI. And there we go. So you can see the different types of images it does generate. Okay, just to give you an idea. So that is our elements. Then we have our text. So with text is the different fonts that you can select. You have your normal fonts that you can then change the font, okay, using your font here and the size, and you can make it bold and italic, the same features that you would have with like your Microsoft Word. You are also able to upload fonts. So if your school does use a particular font, like grade 1 font, you can also upload your own fonts. And then under font or under text, you also have this fancy text that is being created within Canva that you can also use and edit. You have access to your brand kit within the design. So when you are designing a worksheet, for example, and you want to use your school badge, you can just go and select which brand kit it's from, and you can go and select the logo and insert the logo into your design. You can also change the colors. So let's say, for example, you've created this design and now you want to apply the colors from your school. You can then select the colors and it will shuffle through the colors and change the different colors. And obviously, if you've got more elements on your page, it will change that as well. Let's undo this. Okay, if you want to undo, you just select the undo and you can undo any changes you have made. You can also upload, so you are able to upload different images, different logos that you have created. Then you've got your tools where you are able to draw, to have shapes, lines, sticky notes, text, and even tables. Projects, you can select different projects. So let's say, for example, you are an English teacher and let's say last term you taught a lesson on nouns. Now you don't need to go and redesign your presentation. You can go and find your presentation on nouns. Let's say, for example, it's this one. And then you can choose a page from your previous designs and you can literally insert it as a new page or replace a current page within your presentation. So you can reuse your resources that you've created for other terms. You also have access to the apps within your resource. You can you also have access to Magic Media where you can create images, graphics, videos, and even 3D shapes within Canva. And then we have our Translate tool as well, which I'll show you how that works. Is there any language teachers here that teaches in a language other than English, like Afrikaans, Zulu, Sotho? Please tell me in the chat. I would love to see the variety of languages that we teach in. And then I'll show you how we can create a resource using one of the languages. Awesome. Okay. Okay, awesome. I'm just keeping an eye on the chat as well. Sorry if I don't answer your questions immediately. I will get to them later. The presentation we can make available to you. We can send it via email. Attendance register will be sent to you in an email later this evening as well. All right. So you now know the navigation of what Canva looks like. I know it's very overwhelming. So sorry if you feel a bit overwhelmed, but it's just to give you an overview of what can be done using this platform. Now let's get to the exciting stuff. We're going to have a look at how we can use a template. Okay, I'm going to do this practically. So if you do have access to Canva, you're welcome to open it up on your side. If you don't have Canva, then you're welcome to have a look at what I'm doing so that when you do sign up, you're welcome then to follow these steps and create resources for yourself. So let's go and edit a template. I'm going to go to my home screen. Okay. And when I'm in my home screen, I'm going to go and select templates. Once I am in my templates, I'm going to now look for a resource. So if you have Canva on your side, look for a resource that matches your grade and subject. I'm going to pretend I'm an English teacher, and I'm going to go and look for a worksheet on nouns. Okay. Once I've typed in nouns, I can then go and have a look for a resource that would suit my lesson. So there are different presentations, there's printable worksheets, there are colorful interactive worksheets where learners can drag and drop, and there are lots of different resources, as you can see. Now I'm going to change my template to a comprehension. So I'm going to search for comprehension, and now I have a variety of comprehensions that come up. And I can go through them and I can choose which one suits the level of my class. So let's choose this one on Earth. I'm going to select Customize Resource. It's for grade 4s. So when you open up the template, you will see it will say grade 4. It will give you a theme, Earth and Space, and it's good for science. So even your science teachers can use this within the classroom. Right, so there is my resource. Now, as a teacher, I can now adapt this template. So instead of starting from scratch, I can change it. I can change the color. Let's say, for example, I want to print this, so I don't want to use a lot of color. So I can make the background white. The heading, I can then leave it as navy blue or change it to black. And then I have my image. If I wanted to change this image, I'm able to just select it and delete it. And then I can go to my elements and I can look for an image and I can say Earth. And now I will have a variety of different graphics, photos, videos, even 3D shapes that I can choose from to insert into my worksheet. So because it's a worksheet, I'm going to choose a graphic. If I was creating a presentation, I might even choose a video so that it captures my learner's attention. Or I might even choose a 3D shape that I can then even interact with and show my students that what the earth looks like from different angles, which is great, especially for learners to visualize and see where is Africa positioned in position to the rest of the world. Okay, so just a wonderful feature on Canva. Then let's choose a graphic. So let's go and have a look at the different graphics. Let's say, for example, I want to print this. So let's choose this black and white one. The learners can also then color it in. Okay, so there is my worksheet starting to take shape. If I want to change the font, I can then go to select the font and go and change and choose a font that is good for my learners. I can also change the size to suit them. If I need to insert a place for them to write their name, I can then just lift up the heading Earth and I can select text. I can insert a subheading. The alignment is central. I can change it to left aligned, and then I can just type in name and give them a little line to write their name. And then I can even do class if needed and date. Okay, so now I just reduce the size. And there we go. My worksheet is just about done. I can just resize and reposition, and then my worksheet is done. It didn't take me hours and hours to create. How did I change the color? So you just select on, if you select it and you see the purple line around the entire document, that means you can change the color of the background. So you select this change color wheel, and then you are able to change the color using the color wheel. So I can make it, let's make it purple. There, change the background. So you can see this white is a square or a rectangle that's just placed on the worksheet. I'm going to change it back to white. And it's the same thing if you want to change the color of the text, you just select the text where the purple block is around, you know that you are editing that element. And then you can select the text color and you can change the color of the text. You can also do gradients. So you saw mine is at a gradient. So when you choose a color and you click on it a second time, you can choose between solid color and gradient. And with gradients, you can add colors to it. And then it creates that faded, shaded look. Okay, so just some design tips there. Right, then this worksheet has a comprehension as well. For this demonstration, I'm not going to work much with this. I'm just going to show you how we can now translate this. So let's say, for example, now I am an Afrikaans teacher or a Zulu teacher. I see that's the majority here. I can then go and select apps. I can search for translate. I can choose my translation app. And now I am able to go and translate. So let's start off with Afrikaans. It's the first one in the list. I'm going to choose the current page and I'm going to say select. Now, before I do that, in your mind, I want you to think about how long would it take you as a teacher to go and translate this page. right? And let's see how quick it's going to take Canva to do it for us before I could even finish the sentence, right? So there it's translated. And now as a teacher, all I need to do is go and read this and make sure that it translated it correctly. Let's say, for example, I wanted to be in Zulu. Zulu is the last language in the list. There's Zulu, and I can translate this page. The register will be emailed to you after the session. Sorry, we just had a problem with the link. Okay, so there is my resource that's being translated into Zulu. Okay, and then there's other languages. Just to give you an idea, we have Tsonga, we have Sesotho, Sepedi, and I think that is it so far. But they are adding other languages. So please, if your language isn't here, there's Xhosa as well. If your language isn't here, just keep looking. They do add them. They do have a team working with the translations. So do you think that's going to be useful? Do you think it will help you in your class so that you can translate different resources? Awesome. I see some reacting with clapping. Lovely. Thank you. Okay, so let's go back to our presentation. And let's see what was next. So the next thing is how to upload an existing resource. Very, very important. As teachers, some of us that have been teaching for many years, we have certain worksheets that we've been using for a few years. They work, and now we just need to maybe modernize them or use them in, or try to adjust them and change them. So how can we use Canva to do that? Well, you will notice on your home page, you have the different resources available here on the dashboard. And if you just scroll through them, you will see an upload media button. Then you can select your upload media. You can go and upload an entire folder. So if you've got all your teaching resources sitting in a folder, you can upload the entire folder, or you can just upload a file. So I have a Teach Education Resources folder. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to choose a maths worksheet. I'm going to just select it and say open. And now I have a grade 4 time worksheet loading onto my Canva. I'm able then to select it and open it. And now my worksheet has been uploaded successfully. At times, you might upload a PDF or a worksheet, and you'll find that the text is positioned funny. It's not a problem. It's an easy fix. All you need to do then is drag it and reposition it to where it makes sense for you. Okay. And there we go. There's my worksheet that I can then now go and change. If I needed to change the colors of the font, I can go and change the colors. If I wanted to change the colors of the circles, I could go and change the colors. Instead of me going and changing each circle and taking time, when I do one element at the bottom, it will normally say change all. I select change all, and it automatically changes them all for me. Just helping me to save some time as well when I'm designing. And there we go. That's how you can upload your resources and change them up should you need to. Any questions when it comes to what we have done so far? Either with the navigation, editing a template, or uploading an existing resource. Anyone have any questions that I haven't answered? Okay, all right. Then let us go and have a look at how do we assign work to our students. So let's say, for example, I have this worksheet now, and I would like my learners to now fill this in. No, Bussy, you don't need to zip your folder to upload it. You can just go and upload the folder. Let's say, for example, I want to now, instead of printing this worksheet, I want to send this to my learners. They can complete it on their devices if they have. Then you're going to select Assign. And there's different ways that you can assign an assignment. So you can create an assignment, or you can start a live learning session. A live learning session means that it is only available, for example, while I'm teaching now. And then as soon as I, as the teacher, close it, the students won't be able to access it again. Whereas I create an assignment, then this is where I will assign it to the learners. And I can choose to assign it via Canva, via Google Classroom, or even via Microsoft Teams, depending on which platform your school uses. Let's do via Canva. Now I'm going to say continue, and I'm going to choose my class name. So this is where it will link to the classes that you've set up under this classroom tool. If you have not done or set up your class, you can also assign it via a link where you will select continue, and you will be able to copy the link, all right, and get an assignment code. Then you can simply send it to the students via a chat, for example, like I have just done. And then you are able to join into my presentation or my resource. You'll have access to it. So that's how you can assign to the students. I see we have some questions. Thank you so much. So the translate option, whenever you are in any of your designs, you go to your apps and then you search for translate. And your translate app will be the first one, the one with the white background. Once you've used it, it will sit on the left-hand panel. So you'll see I don't have to go to apps anymore. I can just see mine underneath the apps. There it is, translate. Okay. Yes, you can upload. So for example, I uploaded this document. Now I want to translate it. So I'm going to select translate. Let me change it to a different language. Let's do Tsonga. Okay, and I'm going to translate this page. And it's going to translate a page that I've uploaded. Okay, so this is just for an example. Okay, there it's translated it into Tsonga. So how would this be useful for FET mathematics? So you can upload one of your worksheets that you use and edit it and make it interactive for your learners. And then there are the apps where you can put in your formulas. So if you look for formula, you've got different apps that you can use for formulas that would also help with FET mathematics. So, Ilsani, I can't really say, but as far as I know, if something is bought, then I would say best to contact them and just find out. But I know with some resources that you do buy online, once you've bought them, you as a teacher are able to use them in your classroom. So it would just depend on that agreement that you have with the person you bought them from. Okay, so there we go. That's our translation and how to assign the work to your students. Now, once you've assigned it to the students and they open up the assignment on their side, you are able then to go to your analytics. Do you see this button here? It says analytics. And you will then be able to see how many visitors joined in on your activity, how much time they spent on your design. So as a teacher, that's awesome because you will be able to see the data and you'll be able to see which student actually did the work and which student did not do the work. And then that's it for the assigning. Any questions around assigning the work for students? Okay, you're welcome to just type in your questions and then I'll answer them as we go along. So let us go and have a look at a template, and I want all of you to create a resource during this session. So let's go and have a look at our templates. And let's say, for example, we know that we can create worksheets on here. We know we can create presentations on here. But let's have a look at something like creating a email. So I can look for an email. And I can go and have a look at different email templates. So let's say, for example, I like the layout of this template. I can select it and I can say customize this template. When I customize this template, I'm then able to make changes and I can adapt it to the school. So let's say, for example, at the top here, I'm going to put maybe my school's website, www.school.com. Okay, I've edited the website there. I am able then to make changes to this design. So some elements will open up in a Canva designer pop-up. Let's just close some tabs here. Okay, and now I'm able to change this. So let's say, for example, this email is going to be for May newsletter. Okay, I can even delete this image and I can go and find an element or even upload an image. So let's say, for example, I want an image of a school. I can go and look for an image that I want to use, or I'm able to even upload a photo of my school and upload it here and then use it. Okay, so we have a picture of the school. I just need to drag it into a position that works for me. Okay, you're able to crop the photo as well by simply just clicking on the purple line and dragging it. Okay, you can just crop it. And there we go. I have filled that space with this photo. Okay, when I'm happy, if I would like to change the font a bit and maybe make newsletter fall underneath May, I can just select this side panel and drag it so that it falls underneath. And then I can drag it into place. The guidelines are awesome. You will see that there are lines that pop up as I move this element around. That just helps you to drag it into place. And when they are solid, you know that it is centered. Okay. If you are working with a lot of different elements and you want to make sure that they all are aligned with each other, you can select them all by clicking and dragging your mouse over all of the elements. And then if you right click, you can select align elements and you can either left align them, center align them, middle align them. So center align would make it look like that. And then you can obviously just make some changes to the design if you need to. Okay. Yes, so the Canva version that I'm using is for teachers, but it does have the ability. So the teacher Canva edition is basically your pro edition. It just has the added teacher features, such as Learn Grid, which I'll show you just now what Learn Grid is. But it does have design tools within this educator version. Right, then you can edit your text and you can say from the principal. And now as a principal, you can then go and type in your newsletter for the month and you can add in different stories or reports about the month, add in different photos. And at the bottom, you can then insert elements and you can go and look for, let's say, Instagram. And you're able to insert an icon of Instagram. Where did it go? There. Okay, you just need to go and drag it down. You can resize it. And then we're just going to drag it down. Okay. And then you will notice that you are able to link this little icon. So you can select link and you can then go and insert the link to your social media account. And then when you email this out, then parents can just select the Instagram icon, for example, and it will take them straight to your Instagram page. Same thing if you want them to go to your website, if you want them to be able to WhatsApp you straight from here, you can also go and look for WhatsApp. You can insert the WhatsApp icon. Again, you can link it. There is a special link that you use if you just Google how to the link to WhatsApp, it will come up and you just add in your number to the link and then parents will be able to click on it and it will go straight and WhatsApp. It will give them access to WhatsApp the school. Is it a free or paid for? So Canva Education is free. There are paid for versions, but as teachers, you can sign up with your school's email address or even your private email address As long as you sign up with a SAFE certificate, you can get Canva education for free. I do know that they are busy rolling out with some districts and eventually with the department. So you will also be able to get school accounts in the near future as well. Canva can create a QR code, yes. So underneath your apps, if you select apps and you look for QR code, there are apps that you can use to create QR codes. Now, just to explain the difference in apps, you'll see the first one, like the Translate, it's got a white background and the icon is in black. That means that is Canva's app. All right. All the other colorful ones and logos, that belongs to external companies. So if you select QR code here, it will prompt you and give you directions and steps, and then you can follow them and it will help you to set up the QR code. Okay, lovely. I love these questions that come through. Thank you very much. Please keep on asking. Okay, and that is how you can create your email. Once you are done, you can select send test email because we know sometimes it's very intimidating sending out an email. We don't know what it will look like. So you can set up the subject line, edit the subject line, and then you will put in your email address that you want to send the test email to, and you select send test email, and it will send it to your email. Whether it's Gmail or Outlook, it integrates very nicely. Okay. Again, if you have a few teachers, like I know I've worked with some schools that you have a club of teachers that work on a newsletter. If you are a group, you can then also add different teachers to this newsletter or this email, and then you can all collaborate and work on it together. Okay, that is the email. Something I'd also like to show you is the website. So we know sometimes as teachers, if you were to say to me, please create a website for my school, I wouldn't know where to even begin, right? But as a teacher with Canva, you now have the ability to create a website. So you can go and select website. And you can either design from scratch, okay? Or you're able to go to a template and choose a template that would suit you. You can even search for education, and it will give you education templates that you can work with. So let's say, for example, you like this template. You can select it, and then you can go and make edits to it. What some schools have been using these websites for is each teacher has set up their own website. And then instead of every week creating a newsletter to go home to the parents regarding the homework or different activities that's happening at school, each teacher has a website, and the parents just go onto the website and see, okay, these are the assignments my child has to submit this week, or this is the fundraising opportunities happening this month, or these are the activities that's happening. So you can either have a website for the entire school, or each teacher or each subject has a website. Okay, if you so okay, If you are having any problems with signing up to Canva, please, I'm going to give you an email address in the chat, africa@canva.com. Please send them an email. If your SACE certificate is in your maiden surname, sometimes you might have a problem with the application. So then just email Canva Africa with a short explanation, send them your SACE certificate, and then they will be able to help you to sign up. Dorothea, can they track your ID? Is that what SACE? Liz also said she applied with her GD payslip and it was approved. Absolutely, you are welcome to do that. They will give you different options of how you can apply. Payslip, a letter from the school also helps. I just know some teachers were nervous about uploading their payslips, and that's why they got a partnership with SACE, and SACE helps them to approve, just to double check that those that are applying are teachers. Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, Bussy. Thank you very much. Thanks for rectifying that. Pulling the registration form will be emailed to you after the session. Sorry, we just have troubles with the link. So as soon as it's fixed, I will be able to send it through to you. Okay. Right, so when you're creating your website, if you want different pages to your website, all you will do is add a section to the website, and then you can link it. So let's say, for example, you want to have, let's put a new heading here. Let's say, for example, let's say about school. You will then be able to select this. Let's edit this, about school. And you will be able to link it to the first page, and then it will be linked. So that's how you can create a website that links to different sections of the website. When you're done, you select Publish Website, and then your website can be published. So this is what I love about Canva. It allows someone like me that was a teacher for 15 years to learn these skills and now be able to build websites, to run social media accounts. So it does give teachers these skills that you can even have a website for your own classroom. Okay, and there we go. You can create your websites. I've published it, and now I have a link to my website. It's hosted within Canva, so I don't need to pay anything for it. And all I need to do then is copy this link, send it to my class students, and they will be able to go and visit my website. Okay, here we go. And there we go. Obviously, it looks like it needs a lot of work, but just to give you an idea of what you are able to do within Canva. Okay, then I'd like to spend some time on LearnGrid. LearnGrid is an educator tool that was released a couple of weeks ago that was created for teachers. Okay, and it has the entire curriculum from grade 1 to grade 12 built into the LearnGrid, and it currently currently has subjects English, math, science, visual arts, social studies, and essential skills. Subjects is not there, then it means it's not better yet, and you can just keep being patient, and they will improve it. But then there's grades from nursery school, grade R, grade 1, all the way up until to grade 12. And Learn Grade works off the AI. So if you go and select, let's say, for example, grade 7, let's choose English, for example, and let's choose a topic, use vocabulary effectively in speech, edit writing for accuracy, use evidence in oral presentations, structure oral presentations, identify main ideas in text, conduct interviews. You can select any of these and you'll see that the AI automatically drafts a resource for you. So here you will see there's conducting successful interviews. We select it. We can also customize it. And automatically, the AI has created this worksheet for me, where it explains what an interview is. It's got definitions. It's got some information text on reading about an interview. And then it's got an area for learners to answer questions, interview a partner, and then there's even a teaching note. Another type of activity that it created was a whiteboard with different points of view. So if we open up that resource, we can customize it. And here we can see it automatically created this activity. If we zoom in, we will see that there are instructions here. So it says read the scene. For each character, answer the 3 questions. Use quick notes to show what matters, how they're feeling, and what they might do or say. So as a teacher, then there's your teaching notes. And then you can obviously then do the activity with the learners. Right, so this is your whiteboard. This is your infinitive white space that I told you about earlier. It's created this on a whiteboard for us. Another activity that the Learn Grid designed was a whiteboard. Also a whiteboard. This is creating interviews with purpose and clarity. And if we select customize this resource, you can then go and zoom into it. And you'll be able to see what to complete in this activity. So there's some notes for the learners. There's the teacher's note that just says that this was generated by AI to give you a head start, not final word. You know your students, your classroom, and your standards best, so give it a once over and make it yours. So then as a teacher, you can now go through this. You can go and have a look at the activity goals, the quick recall, fixing student interviews, and then you can complete this activity with your students. It has instructions as well on the side that you can then follow when you are editing this for your classroom. So just a nice way of also creating resources with the CAPS curriculum in mind. You can choose different countries, and South Africa is there. Can you write on the whiteboard? Absolutely. So if you go to your whiteboard and you zoom out, you can use your tools, and you as a teacher can change the pen, the color. It's just difficult for me to write with a mouse. There we go. You can also write with it. You can change the thickness as well. So there we go. You can see how you can write. Tumelo, you will be emailed the register. Okay, I think I've answered. Oh, first additional. Yes. So first additional does sit under English. So when you are creating, you can also then just say for first additional, and it will just select an easier level. You can also see that there are different resources coming through in different languages. So these are resources that are being created by our educators community that you can see that you do have access to. You can also create with AI. So if you want to create a worksheet, an interactive game, a whiteboard, you can select these options. So let's say, for example, interactive game. You can choose, do you want a match A to B? Do you want to fill in the blank? Do you want a sequencing? Do you want a multiple choice? So let's say, for example, let's do fill in the blank. Yeah, you can now choose the curriculum, the grade, the subjects, and you can go and let's say, for example, we want nouns. So use parts of speech correctly. And then, yeah, you can describe in more detail or even paste text that you wanted to relate to. So, yeah, you can say, create this activity for first additional. Okay, create a, yeah, let's do it like that. And then we say create activity with AI. And now it will take that in mind when it creates this activity. So now you can see it says drag and drop, fill in the blank activity for grade 7. They've got ELA, first additional learners, focusing on nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. You can see it's busy coding the activity or the game there for us. Okay, it's busy coding. So if you do have any questions, you're welcome to ask. Here we go. So now it's created the game for me. It has a section here where my students can insert their name before they start playing the activity. So this is great because it's attached to a data sheet. So as a teacher, then you will be able to open this data sheet and see who has actually opened the game. So sometimes instead of sending a worksheet home with learners to complete, you can actually create one of these interactive games and send it home with them, but you still have the data to prove, did this learner actually play the game and do their homework, or did they skip it? What's also great is depending on how you prompt it, so now you can actually add in a prompt. You can actually say to the AI, please create this worksheet in a way that I can see how many the learners got right, what they got wrong. So that as a teacher, then you can go back to the data and see, okay, Johnny did really bad with nouns. How do I now support him or give him extra activities to help him learn what nouns are. So as a teacher, you have that data. So here you'll see the learner will start the activity, and now it's got parts of speech. It says the adjective cat slept on the warm sofa. So now the learners would have to go and look for an adjective that could fit there. So let's say the fluffy cat slept on the slept something on the warm, slept peacefully on the warm sofa. She something her homework, adverb every evening. She completes her homework carefully every evening. Okay, so just to give you an idea of then the learners would have to complete them all and check the answers. So let's complete this and we show you how, or let me publish this. I'm going to publish it and I'm going to send you the link. And then you can play it on your side to get an idea of how the learners would interact with a game like this. We are going to be doing games tomorrow, where I'm going to be showing you quite a bit with Canva AI and coding games. So if there is a particular subject and grade that you would like a game for, and you want me to use that to demonstrate tomorrow, you're welcome to type in the chat, and I will try and see if I can incorporate that in our session tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to copy this website so you can see now it's a website. I'm going to paste it into the chat, and you will be able then to click on the link and open it up and play and interact with it on your side. So I've selected the link. It's opening it up in my other browser. And now you can insert your name and start playing the game. I'll give you a couple of minutes to play around with it while I also have a look at the chat. So if you do have ideas for games and grade level and subjects, you're welcome to put it in the chat. Sarah, I see your hands up. You're welcome to speak. Good afternoon, Sarah.
Afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
Good, well, thanks.
I'm well, thanks. You know what? I had a challenge with the game thing. I did two games previously, and then I could see the results afterward. But then the last game that I did, I was struggling to see the results. So normally what it does is this, it allows the learners to work on the game, and then it will give me the name of the learner, the time that the learner wrote, and what the learner got, right? But then previously, I did the exact same steps that I did with the other two games. But then the last one is not showing the results. I even tried to show my other colleague, whom I know he's very good in Canva, but then we struggled with that. And we also shared our game together so that he can be able to edit my work on my Canva, but still it did not work. What could be the problem?
All right, so let's have a look at the game that I've created, right? The data sheet looks like this. So am I correct in understanding you where your information was limited to this as well and you want more information?
No, ma'am, we don't understand each other. I'm saying my learners wrote, but then the
Yes.
results sheet does not show on my side, meaning I do not get the
Um,
yes.
so the person that designed the game, they would have access to the data sheet. So if you, for example,
I'm the
if
one,
you're the one,
yes, I'm the one who created the game. The other two games, they do show the names and the results of the learners,
so
but the
it's
last
just
game
that
that I
one.
did, yes, it's just the last one that does not show the results.
It might be a bug somewhere. Um, what I would love is I'm going to send you my email address and maybe you can email it to me, and maybe I can have a look at it for you.
All right, thank you so much. I'll do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to know how it was set up, but maybe I can have a look at it and ask you maybe to send some screenshots, then I can get better understanding. Maybe it's just a quick fix. Maybe it was just a bug. In that instance, then you might have to go back to the coding, the prompt that you put in, and edit the prompt and say, for example, I'm not getting this information. Please, can you redo the data sheet?
All right, I understand now. Thank you so much. I'll do that.
Okay. Okay, what are you playing the game? What's your feel of the game? Do you think this is something you could use, especially in primary schools? High school, you can also do it, but at obviously a much higher level. If you create a website, is it only available for someone who has the link? Yes. So just like our Mrs. Kumalo, or Miss Kumalo, sorry, mentioned, she created a game and she shared it with her colleague. You are able to do that. So if you're a grade 6 maths teacher and you are teaching 2 classes and you have a colleague teaching 2 classes, you are able to share that link with other teachers and they can share it with their classes. So once you've got the link, it's basically a website for anybody to play. But as long as you've got the data sheet, you will have access to the names of the students that have played. Again, you can add your colleagues to the data sheet by just adding them here with their email address, and then they will also have visibility to this data sheet. So you would never want to then share this data sheet out to people that are external from your school, because then they will have the data from your students. Okay, there's something ran quickly across the dog ran quickly across the busy street. He spoke slowly. He spoke confidently to the large audience. Now I check my answers and it will show me which ones I got right or wrong. I got 8 out of 8. Yeah, I see someone struggling to move the words into the correct place. Is that happening with anyone else? Okay, I'm going to send the link to you again. If you're struggling, maybe just refresh. I'll send the link again. I see there's a few that's struggling. Okay, someone said on the phone they're struggling, but on the computer it's working. So it might just be on the computer. I mean, sorry, on the phone that it's not working. Okay, awesome. We've got someone that's tried it on their phone and they're saying it works. You might need to just press on the word for a few seconds and then it will start to move. Click the word and drag it to the correct space. Yes. Good. So it is working. Do you think that this could make learning fun for your students? We will go into more depth with it tomorrow, and even show you how to create games with differentiation, so that if you have learners that are learning at a lower level compared to other learners, you can even create one game with different levels, and then it challenges your bright learners, and then it also helps the learners that are struggling to then go from an easier level to a harder level. Yes, so it doesn't have a link to for the results. I'll show you here now. So I'm just busy refreshing my data sheet. So we've had a few teachers now play the game. So I'm just busy refreshing the data sheet on my side. So let me just open it here. There we go. So this also might have been a problem. I think it was Sarah that I spoke to earlier. So you noticed when I was going through the data sheet, it wasn't bringing up the data. But as soon as I pressed this data button, yeah, I needed to refresh the data. And it took a while, but then it populated the table. So maybe try that. I don't know if that could have been the problem. So there we go. So now I'm able to see who has played the game, how many they got right, how many attempts they had, what time they completed the game. So this is the data then that you will have with your class. So you will be able to see who actually played the game. And it's so nice to see that some of you even played 2 or 3 times. Very nice. And these are games that will encourage learners. So instead of having a worksheet where they fill in the blanks, they have a game like this where they drag and drop. It just makes learning feel more modern for them. And it is fun. Let's be honest. I think all of us would rather be playing a game on a device than filling in a worksheet. We do understand some schools, the learners don't have devices, but many of the times the parents do have access to a phone, and then they can also use this as a practice activity on their parents' phones. It can only be done for homework. Some schools also have computer centers where the teachers then book out the lesson for that session, and then the learners get to play on the computers during a lesson, and then it can also be done in class time. So yes, it can also show the learners which got answers incorrectly. And in our session tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to prompt it so that the data sheet actually gives you that information. It gives you how many they got right, how many they got wrong, even shows you what they get wrong. So then as a teacher, you can then support those that you can see are really struggling. Okay. Right, so I've got some nice game ideas here for tomorrow for maths and science, grade 10 to 12 math games, economics grade 11. So we'll try and see what we can fit in for our lesson tomorrow, our training session tomorrow. Okay, but just to summarize what we have done today, we have gone through the navigation of Canva, the different tools that is embedded in the platform. We've also had a look at how we can edit a template. And these templates range from your teaching resources to your principal being able to create their newsletters within Canva. It allows you to create your social media assets within Canva. Anything, even as a teacher, if you want to create an invitation to the concert that you're having, you can search for invitation, and there's a whole lot of templates that you can use for your invitations as well. Then we also had a look at how we can upload our own resources using the upload feature on our dashboard. Okay. We also had a look at how we can assign work to our students. So once we have an activity and we want to send it to our students, we then select the assign button in the top right-hand corner, and we can assign it in different ways, whether it's through our Google Classroom, our Teams, through Canva, or even with sharing a link with them. We also looked at how we can translate our worksheets, which will help teachers that do teach in other languages. They can then just translate in a few seconds. And then we had a look at how we can create some games. It was very limited, an introduction of how we can use Learn Grid to create these different assets like our games. We also looked at how it can create according to the CAPS curriculum. So let's say, for example, grade 12, and we want a mathematics lesson. We can choose the topic, interpret measurement results, and it will create different digital products for us. And then you can also create games like fill in the blank, matching. There's some calculations with a principal worksheet, multiple choice. You can interpret data, think, pair, share, put it to practice, and then real world number problems. So let's select this digital worksheet. And there we go. Create an activity with AI, just to show you what it will look like at a higher level. So very nice question while this one is being created. When we translated it into Tsonga, the faces also changed. So that's just the AI getting it a bit wrong. So all you need to do then is you can use the original worksheet and just drag from this worksheet to the worksheet where the faces are correct. So you could select all of this, right? And then, so you select all the elements, you copy them by pressing Control C, and then you would just go and delete these ones that look all funny. and then you would click on your worksheet and say Control V, and it will paste the correct watch faces in. Translating a game, I've never tried that. I have never tried that. I can try it and see if it will work, and if it does, I can show you tomorrow as well. Here is the evaluating the measurement one. So yeah, this is what it has created for our matric students. Write an equation, solve the problem, create a graph, double click to design here, and then the learners can double click and create a graph. Can we upload our own worksheet to this activity worksheet? Yes. If you do have a time worksheet like this and you want to upload anything else into it, you just select uploads within your design. You don't have to go to the home page, and then you can upload from this panel. So you'll say upload files, and then you'll go and choose your worksheet, and then you can insert it to this design as well. That can be done. All right. So I just want to conclude by letting you know that we do have a Facebook community. The QR code is also on the screen. So we do have a Canva educators Facebook page where you can join and we interact. Teachers share some of their resources. It's just a nice, safe place, community. If you've got questions, you can ask. We post different how-to videos. So you are welcome to join the community. And it's just a place where we can continue to support you as well. The register will be sent to all the email addresses that you registered for the session with. There was a question here that I missed. Can the learners see answers that they get wrong? For the game, you can set it up where they can see their wrong answers. Definitely. I'll demonstrate that for you tomorrow as well. Certificates will be sent to the emails that you registered for this session with. You don't need to send me the email address. We do have access to them. Michaela, you don't have the classroom option. Is that on your Canva? If you can just give me some information, that would be great. All right, and then please, there is also the design school that I did, that I showed you in the beginning of the session. It does sit on your dashboard as well. Please, we do encourage you to complete the courses, get the certificates, because it will also just help you to become familiar with the platform. And then from my side, please remember to start small. There's no need to change your entire way of teaching. Start small, start in a way that it can be consistent, maybe by creating one game or one interactive activity. And then remember that Canva supports teachers. We do not replace teachers. You are the heart and the soul. We need you in the classroom. And also thank you so much for all the work that you're doing, even for just being here this afternoon. Shows me that you really care about your students and you really want to find ways where you can reach them and teach them at their level. So thank you very much. I am going to stay behind for anybody that does have questions. You're welcome to ask me questions. But from my side, thank you very much to everybody for attending, and I'll see you tomorrow for our next session. All right. Questions in the chat. The classroom option that is under your home option. Oh, yes. So, Michaela, that might mean that you're not on the teacher's version of Canva. So just double check, and maybe you'll just need to update your plan to the teacher's platform. Okay, any hands up? You're welcome to ask questions. The register will be sent later this evening. Please post the QR code to the Facebook page. Sure, no problem. Now that I want to do it, it's slow. Yes, you're more than welcome to invite us to the exhibition, no problem. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Okay, for learners to receive the link to do an activity at home, some schools have set up WhatsApp groups with parents or email addresses with parents, and then they email those links to the parents or WhatsApp them to the parents. So you would, if you are sending an activity home for a student to do, you would have to then send it through the parents, or some schools have learner email addresses. So it would just depend on what your school has set up. Sure, I'm going to send my email address. Thank you very much. Any questions, you're welcome to ask. If you want to know how to do something within Canva, you're also welcome to make suggestions, and I can also customize the training for tomorrow's session. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Okay, any questions? All right. I'm going to end the event. The chat will still continue, so you're welcome to add a question if you do have one. But have a lovely evening, everyone. Thank you for your time this afternoon. Yes. Kolesani, if you send a game and it's attached to data and you created it, you will be able to have the back end of that game, not the parents. The Canva page on Facebook is called, I'll tell you now. I want to get the actual name. Canva Africa Educator Community. Sure, Cindy, I'm not sure about playing the audio, but you are able to make a storybook. In our session tomorrow, I will show you how to make a basically a story book that you can use with your students. But attached to audio, if you as a teacher record reading it, then they would be able to play the audio. Okay, I'm going to end the event. Thank you very much. Please keep the questions going if you do have any, and I will answer them in the chat for you. Bye, everyone.